Hello, Bitcoiners. I hope you're doing well. This is going to be a massive episode, okay? This has been one of the most bullish weeks for Bitcoin that I've ever experienced in my short 3 years stay here in the Bitcoin space. We're going to jump straight into the big news here, guys, with Elon Musk. So go and grab yourself a coffee. Any newcomers or people new to Bitcoin, don't worry. Lots of advice towards the end. Grab a pen and paper if you want to learn something, but let's jump straight on into it with the news that has broken the internet. Elon Musk, okay, the most influential man on the planet, the richest man on the planet, has broken the internet with this right here. He's changed his Twitter bio to the Bitcoin symbol, okay? And he also sent out a little bit of a cryptic tweet. He said, in retrospect, it was inevitable. What have I been telling you guys? Bitcoin is inevitable. And now the richest man on the planet has discovered it on a day that couldn't have been any more perfect. It makes you wonder, has Elon just been waiting to drop this news for a long time? Because yesterday was the day that the world woke up to the scam that is the global financial system, when 6 million random low-key retail guys blew up a $12 billion hedge fund and nearly collapsed the entire financial system, which got the White House having to call a trading platform to stop these 6 million Reddit traders from buying a certain stock. We'll be covering that one in a video probably coming out tomorrow, so stay tuned for that one. But back to the Elon Musk Michael Saylor news. But you can see here the date, the 20th of December. He was personally messaging Elon Musk, trying to red pill him on Bitcoin, and then that one thing led to another, and we had Robert Breedlove, the Bitcoin philosopher. I think he was tweeting back and forwards with Elon, and Elon was kind of quiet for a week or two, and then he started engaging with some of the older tweets from Robert Breedlove. Go and read his work, by the way, while we're on the topic. Phenomenal. He is the Bitcoin philosopher. So anyway, Elon Musk changed his Twitter handle yesterday to Bitcoin. The same thing that Jack Dorsey has. Nothing in there, just hashtag Bitcoin, because it's inevitable. And let's see what happened to the price yesterday, guys. So we might start out here on maybe a weekly scale and just give you guys a quick look at the bull run. We'll be covering the bull run and the charts towards the end of the video. Don't you worry about that. We've been pretty busy since the last time I've done a video. So, onto the charts, guys. Since the last video I'd done, we have more than doubled. That was just below the all-time high, you can remember. I was screaming like a shenanigan, and I was saying, look, when you clear the all-time high, things are going to get interesting. And boy, have things got interesting, guys. Okay, so that's us on the weekly scale. Let's jump in on maybe a 4-hour chart and see what happened to Elon here, and see what happened to the price, I should say, after that announcement. Okay, so we'll zoom right on in. We'll jump on a 4-hour chart. Maybe he's probably going to be the best to show you the absolute shenanigans that happened. So here, we've been consolidating in this little bullish flag structure, I suppose you could say. We had a nice 20% dip, and you can see we were just pressing up here on this trend line here, just before the Elon tweet. And in 1 hour, the price of Bitcoin pumped 22%. In 1 hour, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, who knows whether the Elon tweet caused the pump? We don't know. But something interesting that I noticed on the charts, what was it? There's a pretty big dump just before that Elon announcement. I don't know. We won't read too much into that. 7% dump as you broke out of that trend line. Maybe it was just a stock standard retest of that trend line before moving off. We don't know, but we'll leave the manipulation of the markets to later in the video. We've got lots to show you on that front. Okay, so I just found the reason of why we got that massive price dump and manipulation in price. We're looking here at the options expiration. These are the options contracts that expired on the 29th of January. Yep, coincidence, just after the Elon Musk pump, as we ran up to 38k. Now have a look at the two largest levels. $40,000, this is US dollars, $52,000. So just as we were about to hit that $40,000 Bitcoin price, and a bunch of retail trading, degenerate traders were about to strike it rich with their $40,000 call options. All the exchanges shut down, and nobody could buy Bitcoin. Kraken, Coinbase, they all shut down. But I'm sure it's just another coincidence that they all shut down at that time. We'll see. Okay, so back to Ray Dalio. He owns the largest hedge fund in the world, Bridgewater Associates, okay? He has billions, actually, he has trillions of assets under management, and he has now been red-pilled on Bitcoin, as you're about to see. But while we're on the list of hedge funds, remember, BlackRock, they came out in December, being very, very bullish on Bitcoin. Citadel, I believe I remember hearing they were getting into shitcoin or crypto mining or something along those lines. We'll dig up the facts on that one later. Sorry about that, guys. So let's move on in. And Renaissance Technologies, excuse my pronunciation, that was terrible. They've also been linked to Bitcoin. So now let's jump back over to Ray and see the tweet that he put out yesterday. Because similar to Elon Musk, he didn't get Bitcoin at first. He was a little bit late to the party, old Ray Dalio. We know that the most successful macroeconomic investors around the world already swallowed that Bitcoin red pill earlier in March, okay? And the race all started when Paul Tudor Jones, one of the most famous macroeconomic hedge fund managers for the past 20 to 30 years, came out. He was bullish on Bitcoin. And then you got Stanley Druckenmiller, he's bullish on Bitcoin. You got Raoul Shitcoin Paul, yes, he's good at macro. He's bullish on Bitcoin. Ignore all the other shit he says over there on Real Vision Crypto, or shitcoin as we call it. Yes, remember, he was warming up to XRP the week before it absolutely dumped like the shitcoin it was. Sorry, Raoul, but that's the truth. Now let's jump back over to Ray, okay? So Ray was late to the party. You had Druckenmiller, you had Raoul Paul, you had Paul Tudor Jones, all come out saying they were bullish on Bitcoin. And old man Ray just didn't quite understand it. He thought it was a currency, okay? Ray Dalio, he dug a little bit deeper, and he said here in this tweet, I might be missing something about Bitcoin. I'd love to be corrected. Rah, rah, rah. Same story. He went and read the Bitcoin philosopher's work, Robert Breedlove. That's another shout out to you, my friend. Yes, he went and read Robert's work, I believe. He was engaging on Twitter on some of his threads, and then he come back yesterday on the same day that the internet was blown up with the Wall Street bets and Elon Musk, and Ray Dalio came out and said, Bitcoin is one hell of an invention. Damn right, Ray, about time you realise. Actually, probably the biggest invention in mankind's history of technologies and inventions. Okay, some of you guys might not understand that yet, but we'll get you there. Bitcoin is the biggest invention of all time, okay? As Robert would say, absolute scarcity. This is the first time we've created a money that has absolute scarcity. 21 million, and everybody wants some. All the hedge fund billionaires want some, okay, guys? As Michael Saylor would say.
He goes, oh yeah, I get it, I own Bitcoin. Okay, so the point is, this is an example where everybody's really afraid. Everybody says, oh, that's a really ballsy, risky,
But they're all long themselves.
They're all long Bitcoin.
It's the same in the hedge fund world. Paul Tudor Jones goes, you're the Paul Tudor Jones of the corporate world. Paul was the first guy to stand up and go, well, I bought Bitcoin in my fund. And guess what? Every bloody fund manager I know owns some Bitcoin already.
And, not to
Yep, that's right, guys. They're all long Bitcoin. Yes, they're talking about Paul Tudor Jones as well. They're all long Bitcoin. And this week, you know how much I love The Office, has got me feeling like this.
Oh my god, okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm. Wait. Everybody calm down.
The Office, weeknights.
It is all happening here at the MCG, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so let's jump back onto what are we going to look at next? Another hedge fund. Alright, do you guys, we covered this clip in November or December when it came out in my last video I'd done for you guys, before I got injured, okay? I got wry neck. Essentially, I was just a pussy and I couldn't talk for 3 weeks. Sorry about the no update videos, guys. But let's just look on the positive side. My housemates were fucking stoked with me not being able to ramble about Bitcoin for 2 weeks straight, okay? But back into the episode. Scott Minerd, doesn't matter, he's a shit bloke, doesn't matter how you pronounce his name. Scott Minerd, okay, he came out and he said, hey look, I've done the fundamental research on Bitcoin, I've gone down that rabbit hole, as all of you guys probably should, and I think Bitcoin's worth at least $400,000 by the end of 2021. Let's listen to the interview that also broke the internet.
Of course, we made the decision to start allocating toward Bitcoin when Bitcoin was at 10,000. It's a little more challenging with the current price closer to 20,000. Amazing, over a very short period of time how big of a run-up we've had. But having said that, our fundamental work shows that Bitcoin should be worth about $400,000.
Whoa.
So, we're going to, even if we had the ability to do so today, we're going to monitor the market and see how trading goes on valuation, but ultimately look to buy it.
Scott Minerd, we want to delay the Fed press conference for this comment by you. How do you frame a 400,000 Bitcoin?
Yes. Whoa, they're so surprised. The suits don't know what to do with Bitcoin. They still think it's a bubble and a Ponzi scheme. Whoa. But what's really important to take away there, they delayed the press conference of Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, okay? The head of the central banks for the entire world. Some of these fiat currency fiasco morons would call him the most important man in economics. He's not. He's a moron. He's stealing your money and your wealth. We might cover that later on in the video. But sorry about the tangent. They delayed speaking to him to hear about how Bitcoin hits 400,000, according to Scott Minerd, who's the CEO of one of the largest hedge funds around the world, with $270 billion of assets under management. Okay, so that's who Scott Minerd is. Okay, guys. Now let's have a look at some of the things that he said just after that interview. Okay, so Scott Minerd came out and he said that in December when the price of Bitcoin was around $10,000 or $15,000. But our good friend Scott made a pretty big blunder, didn't he, guys? He didn't actually receive clearance from the SEC to go ahead and buy it for Guggenheim, okay? If you have a look here, Guggenheim's SEC filing to invest in Bitcoin via GBTC would become effective January the 31st. Oh no, Scotty boy, what have you done? You really cocked yourself up there, didn't you? So he came out and announced, I think it's going to hit 400k, and the price was in these levels here, that 10 to 15, maybe 20,000 US dollar range, and then the price just absolutely ran away from him, and all the way on this run up, young Scotty boy hasn't been able to buy for his hedge fund. So guess what he's been doing? He's been doing something that's normally illegal if Bitcoin wasn't a security and it was actually a stock. He's been coming out talking just straight bullshit out of his ass. Look at his tweet here. When he realized he really cocked up. Oh, 35,000 is too expensive for Bitcoin. I expect a crash to 20,000. He came out again in another interview talking smack on the mainstream news. 3 interviews in 1 week, this moron came out talking smack about Bitcoin. I'll give you guys a little glimpse of this one so you know what I'm banging on about.
Or maybe even higher. But right now, I think that the reality of the institutional demand that would support a $35,000 price or even a $30,000 price is just not there. And so I think that
Yeah. You hear that? He's coughing. He's got to clear his throat. He's talking absolute bullshit. Okay? Well, that's Scott Minerd manipulating the price. You're going to see lots of price manipulation, guys. That's the point of that long tangent. Okay? Guggenheim wasn't cleared to buy the Bitcoin, and then Plan B puts it pretty nicely. So in 1 month, we had the Steve Mnuchin, you had the regulatory scare, you had the Teva FUD, the Ledger hack, the Mt. Gox FUD, Yellen, Lagarde, and Draghi. Yes, we're going to get to roasting them later in the video. You got all this fake news coming out in the Bitcoin price. As we ran from 20k, we broke the all-time high, we doubled in literally 3 weeks. Now, why is all that fake news coming out all at the same time too? Really coordinated. It really, I don't know, guys. You know I love a good conspiracy with the tinfoil hat. We'll get to that one later in the video as well. But Plan B just says, some would say that this is a bit too much of a coincidence. Yep, you know how much I love coincidences here on the channel, guys. But let's move on I'll show you this chart quickly. This is the amount of Bitcoins that are available to buy. As you can see, everybody's screaming, oh, this is the top at 40k, we're selling. No, you're all wrong. This is your first 30% pullback. Look at the coins coming off an exchange. That is the red here. You can see that the red is just going parabolically down. That means there's not Bitcoins on exchanges for new people to come in and buy, okay? As you can see, when you look at the same chart back in 2017, at the very peak or the top of that bull run, you can see, look at all the green there, the massive peaks of green. That means people are sending coins to the exchange to sell for dirty fiat. Okay, they're cashing out because they know it's a short-term top in the Bitcoin price. Okay, but when you look at the price at the moment and all these so-called experts calling Bitcoin a bubble and it's crashed again like 2017, well, the on-chain data would suggest otherwise, guys, because coins are leaving the exchange, indicating that the smart investors, or the hodlers, as we like to call them, they're not even thinking about selling them. They're pulling them off the exchange, okay? Here's a video we done earlier in the year when we ran through the 4-year cycles. Anyone new to Bitcoin, go and watch this video because it shows how common 30% pullbacks are in Bitcoin, okay? Very, very common to get 30% pullbacks. You want to be fully loaded. If you are new to Bitcoin, obviously the best time was earlier this year when I said, right, that's it, bull run confirmed. We just broke this structure here. We broke a larger macro wedge pattern, okay, when we broke that $9,000 level. Obviously, that's the best time to be fully loaded. But if you're a new person, do not be scared of those 30% pullbacks. Go back and watch the video to see how common they really are. And I hate to do it to you guys, but this is going to have to do part 1. We're running out of time. Tune in for part 2. We haven't even touched on the big stories yet. You've got Harvard and Yale and some of the biggest endowments around the world all buying Bitcoin for their university treasuries. You've got the state of Miami in the United States also buying Bitcoin for its treasuries. And oh boy, would you look at that? Another coincidence. Kraken and Coinbase and some of the largest Bitcoin exchanges all went down yesterday just as Bitcoin was pumping after that Elon Musk tweet we talked about. Coincidence? Why would the exchanges go down so people can't buy into the asset? A little bit of manipulation so the big boys could scoop up Bitcoin on the cheap after they come to the realization that they were wrong and Elon Musk was buying. And we're also going to be having a look at Michael Saylor, who is holding a conference teaching thousands of his billionaire buddies how to buy Bitcoin in the first week of February. That's right, starting tomorrow. Take a listen to this one.
What has the response from other companies been? What are you expecting in terms of this conference?
We're going to have thousands of executives, officers, and directors and advisors of corporations coming together in the first week of February. They all want to figure out how to plug Bitcoin into their balance sheet or their P&L. We're going to publish our playbook, all of our accounting guidance, our legal guidance, all the work we did